Hello YouTube, this is Morgan Airspeed Prime here with my next Avatar news update. For the most part, we're going to be focusing on the September update for the Avatar Legends role-playing game Kickstarter. So this was sort of the make or break update. I felt like they had to deliver some sort of estimate on shipping. Thankfully they did, so let's go through this here. So we have shipping dates for you. Many of the accessories have reached our fulfillment partners, and the books are getting packed onto boats and shipping in the next few weeks. This schedule means shipping to backers will begin in November and December. You should be getting your rewards just before the winter holidays this year. This means they'll be closing the backer kit on September 30th, so that's the final time to lock in your address. And then, we'll have more information about shipping in the next update and what to expect from the process. So that's probably the main thing coming out of this bit of the update that I'm kind of wondering is like, okay, they give us the general idea of, okay, shipping won't start this month, it won't start next month, but they're saying it will start in November, meaning I suppose the earliest your stuff will be sent is early November. And if you get it sent then, you definitely should get it this year. The problem is, it's like what determines if you're in the November batch or you're only getting your stuff shipped in December? How does that affect like international backers and that process, which is obviously going to take longer, I would guess. In that, like, I personally, even if it gets sent out to me in November, I'd be still somewhat surprised if it got to me before the end of the year, but we'll see what happens. So definitely the details, which will probably be in the next update, because they pretty much have to be, will be interesting. I hope they have those sort of details for the different regions as well. Next part of the update, pre-orders and public PDF release. So now that they have the shipping information, they can start pre-orders for the game, for just everyone. So pre-orders will begin October 12th. Once they're open, they'll share news on all their channels and in the October update. Fans who missed the Kickstarter will be able to pre-order the PDF through DriveThruRPG and physical copies with free PDFs through the web store. Now, I'm very interested to see how this one ends up working, because I'm guessing by October 12th, their October update will be out, so they'll have better clarification on the exact details of when stuff is shipping out. I'm interested to see what the pre-orders are like for, in terms of like, okay, it's a pre-order in October, but for when? Like, is this going to be December release, or is it going to be an early 2023 release? Because the reason they've held back on this is, I'm guessing, to make sure to keep the exclusivity currently for Kickstarter backers, because people will get annoyed if they're early backers on this thing and they only get their stuff after people who just decided that they want to get it now. That will create a lot of issues. So I'm guessing they're going to pretty much do this where, like, the physical copies are only going to start shipping probably like maybe January or February or something like that, just to avoid this issue. The PDF, I suppose maybe they can do a thing where that actually launches a little bit earlier, but we'll see exactly what they do. Either way, a lot of people have been wanting to actually get this, missed out on the Kickstarter because it was quite a while ago at this point. So that's good to know. Actual play and digital tools. So this is the whole new sort of adventure thing that they did with some of the voice actors. It's in the approvals process. It will be available in either November or December once the process is over. And we'll also get some of the new content that they did with that as well. Digital tools for the RPG. They'll post about it in October. And that's really all there is to say there. So, not a particularly substantial update in that it's actually like relatively small in terms of the amount of text that's actually here. Once again, no pictures, but based on what they're saying, it seems like the stuff has arrived at fulfillment partners rather than at Magpie Games HQ. So my guess is that probably by next month they'll have some of the stuff and they can show more pictures of like, hey, here's thousands of dice and packs of cards and stuff like that. So the next update should actually be, I think, quite good, quite substantial. Now, obviously, there's still going to be some frustration here because I think most people figured out that it probably would only be November, December by the time things would be sort of shipping months and months ago. And it has taken them probably the core of like 4 months to get from that point where it was all but confirmed that there was a delay into November, December, to them actually confirming it. The last 4 updates have effectively just been, we can't tell you anything right now, wait until next month. And now finally they have the update, and as people expected, yeah, they're just barely hitting 2022. Because again, the schedule on this was originally, stuff was meant to arrive in February. They then changed it to summer. And since then, until this post, they hadn't actually had a new estimate on when things were actually scheduled to come. So it's important to realize in all of that there has been effectively a 10-month delay to the overall process. That's effectively what they are saying here, is that you will get your stuff probably in December, if not January. And so that is a 10 or 11 month delay from what was originally said. And that is a very, very notable delay. And I don't think they've perhaps handled it the absolute best, but it also hasn't been like an absolute disaster. So that's important to realize as well. So, I'm still excited to get my physical stuff. Obviously, I've already gone through a lot of the content already, but I'm excited to get the actual book and maybe read through it again and so on. But yeah, other than that, some minor live action show news. I think this is one of the last pieces of casting news we're probably going to get. Jet has been cast, and it's going to be Sebastian Amoruso playing him. Other than that, Avatar News did start this thing called Saturdays, which there's a few stages to this where, like, I think when he first announced it, people got quite excited because, oh, he's going to show off pictures of the set. But no, he just decided, I won't show off pictures, I'll just describe those pictures. But even that was too much for Netflix, who apparently asked that he stop doing this and take down what he had already put up. So a description of what a set looks like has been taken down. That to me is a bit much for a show that is basically an adaptation, a show that in terms of actual official updates that aren't just Avatar News or someone else like basically getting exclusive information that's effectively leaked, there really hasn't been many official updates. So them basically saying that they want the viewing experience to be magical down to the very last detail just because they don't want a description of any of the sets to come out doesn't read in the right way to me. If you are confident about this, why do you need a description of the set taken down? You should have confidence that that won't ruin it for people. And then if you think it will ruin it, then it kind of highlights that you haven't been doing a particularly good job at communicating about this show. Because you have to keep in mind that I think officially there's only been maybe, 6 or 7 actors officially announced, and even then I might be mistaking some of the ones that weren't officially announced as being officially announced. They announced obviously the main cast, so Aang, Sokka, Katara, Zuko, Iroh, and then I think Suki and her mother were also official casting announcements, but I don't even remember if that was the case. Either way, there's only been those handful that have been like full on revealed. Everything else has come from Avatar Studios or Avatar News or not official sources basically. And that's my thing with this, is that I'm kind of waiting for that really, really official information. First images of sets, first images of characters in their costumes, first clips, the first trailer to come out, and then of course the episodes. Because it is just an adaptation show, that's why I really am committing to the idea that, like, I don't get why they're being so precious about the information. That to me feels like they're almost trying to hide it, which I don't think is the best look. This should be a show that actually has good communication. just to create the better relationship with fans. And so having stuff where you're taking down descriptions of set pictures is not the best look in my mind. And I'm just at the point now where I'm like, when are you actually going to show off stuff about this show? Because we've known about this for so long now, and there's still next to nothing out there about it. I don't like that that's the case. Already, like, my interest in this show is pretty minimal, but they've done nothing to get me particularly invested, and I think that's the big problem in all of this. Other than that, I think that's more or less everything I want to talk about, everything that's come out in terms of news. Everything else we're waiting for is basically like announcements. What's going on with Beasts of the Four Nations. Patterns in Time, of course, I've put out an early review. If you haven't seen it yet, I'll have a link to that in the description. If you want to know more information about that book, which is the last sort of like major release of the year, then we'll be just waiting for sort of the detailed information, like the descriptions, to come out for Azula in the Spirit Temple, so we know more about what that's going to be about. The official announcement with more details of the Korra comic trilogy. That's the sort of stuff that we probably would expect to get like right in the last few months of the year. Yang Chen Book 2, if the schedule is going to be anything like the Kyoshi books, that might be coming in the next couple of months. There's the Quest for Balance video game, which we were talking about a bunch of weeks ago, but has gone very silent on that front, and we're getting ever closer to the apparent November release date of that game, so we'll need to find out about that soon. There's still Avatar Generations out there, which again has had like a launch in a couple of regions, but the proper launch of that game is, I think, still expected for this year, I believe. So there's that. I'm not really expecting, I think, any other Avatar Studios news this year, apart from if any kind of leaked information, insider information comes out. And then, yeah, with regards to the Netflix show, I'm pretty sure like they probably should have some sort of a first look at the show before the year comes to an end. Otherwise, yeah, the year is, I think, coming to a somewhat weak end, like especially on the merchandise front. Like, it's not been great recently, so things have been relatively slow of late, and the fact that we're still talking about like delays and the lack of communication on a lot of things is very, very telling. So in the comments, let me know what your thoughts are on the finally a positive shipping update for the Legends RPG game, as well as an announcement for where non-Kickstarter backers can actually get the book. So that's good. And then what are your thoughts on it? What's going on with the Netflix show? Like, why are they being so silent about that, and only shutting down information now? Like, they're not telling him to take down casting information before it's been made official, but they're asking him to take down set descriptions. That's weird to me. What are your thoughts on all of that stuff? But other than that, that's been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.